Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Ascended Casual back again with surprisingly a different game video. So something I wanted to talk about. This is going to be kind of a rant. I used to play this game, Naruto, Boruto, Shinobi Strikers, as it was, and I just want to get out something that I felt a long time ago before I started actually making videos, and that is just how much of a wasted potential that this game was. So what do I mean by that? Well, first and foremost, when I used to talk with my friends and we would speculate, oh, what would be like the best Naruto game ever? On paper, it was Shinobi Strikers. So, come to find my surprise when this game came out and everything that it advertised itself to be seemed almost exactly like the kind of stuff that I talked about. So, when this happened, I was like, oh my god, I gotta get this game on. This was like one of the first games ever that I was so sure of, and I just like immediately bought upon its release. And it was fun for a while, but boy did its glaring problems just become so obvious. So I'm gonna kind of talk about some of the things, or pretty much everything I have a problem with this game. The reason why I don't even play it anymore, and honestly the only reason why I even got back on this game was pretty much just to talk shit. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I think the biggest, most glaring problem with this game is this, I don't know, class system, like however you want to call it. But the biggest thing that Shinobi Strikers had going for them was the customization. It was supposed to be the Naruto version of Xenoverse 2, basically. But this customization is just extremely lazy. The biggest problem is everything, and I mean everything, is locked to specific classes for no reason. And while I understand the concept of building an effective and well-balanced team, and I think it's a really cool idea, it's actually one of the things that I was, thinking about when I was fantasizing over that perfect Naruto game. But the way that they did this is just way too restricting, even to things that don't need to be class specific, like ninja tools and weapons. If you're not playing online for whatever reason, then you're going to be doing missions virtually by yourself. So then why are you restricting players from building a well-balanced character? And maybe we just want the aesthetics, like things that even in the show, even in Naruto, that exist, like aren't even possible in this game. Like if I want to play a ninja with a Tanto and have body flicker, you can't, because the Tanto's under range and body flicker's under attack. So you're telling me the character Shisui doesn't exist? Like that whole character, just not possible in Shinobi Strikers. So it's just stupid, just from the beginning. But it's fun and all to talk shit, but like how could you possibly fix this game, huh? So first, get rid of the restrictions to the ninja weapons and most ninja tools and jutsu. Obviously certain things can be restricted, like only healers being able to have healing jutsu. That makes sense, in the healing tags. This is such a jumbled up random mess that does not need to be as complicated as it actually is. If you want to have a difference between, the different classes and keep them in, but still not restricting jutsu or the tools like I mentioned earlier, you could just say, hey, attack types do exponentially more damage with taijutsu. They're just basic attack, does a lot of jutsu. Ranged class should have, decent damage all around, probably not as much as attack, but just change the default like kunai to the powerful kunai, and then have a higher ninja tool count. That would be a good alternative. Then I would say defense does less taijutsu and ninjutsu damage, but regardless of the weapon that they're using, their strong attack would have the no flinch armor, and are the only class other than healers that have access to the ceiling tag tool. And then the healer class would be the only class that has access to the healing tags and obviously healing jutsu. Everything else should not be restricted. There should also be a separate class, if this even needs to be a thing, where, especially for offline play, where you can choose to, set up a character with all of the learned jutsu and everything. And if you want, you should be able to create a character that only has ultimate jutsus. Now, I know what that probably sounds like. It's like, oh, that's crazy. Like, that would be overpowered. But, like, if you really think about it, no, it wouldn't. Because, first and foremost, you would be pretty much relegated to using just straight taijutsu the entire time, for the most part, until all your ultimates loaded up. So, you would be severely handicapped for most of the mission or fight that you're doing. I do think a way to balance that would be if you're going to run a only ultimate, and this has to be only ultimates. I mean, like, you can only have ultimates, no other kind of jutsu. If you do, then it just doesn't work. But if you run only ultimates, your ultimates will regenerate or charge just a little bit faster. Nothing drastic, because then you will get into the realm of making a busted character, but just a slight buff just to make it not super ridiculous. And also, just like if I just want to, like, just have the customization where I'm like both 8 gates and I'm 7 heaven healings jutsu, and I can get both those buffs at the same time, and I just want to play around with a fun build, then just let me do it. Like, what's the problem? So when people are using, like, if we go back to the trainable stats, if we go back to that notion, not all ninja are as fast or as strong or anything as each other, even in the show. So why isn't that reflected as a tangible thing in the game? So my proposed stats would be speed, strength, skill, chakra control, sign weaving, and stealth. Now, speed would be running speed and chakra jump distance. Honestly, this is one of the things that kind of just bugs me about this game. Like, the running in this game is just so slow. Like, I feel like I could run faster than these supposed ninja in this game. Why do they run so slow? But speed, you'd be able to run faster, and then the charge chakra jump would be even further. Strength would just increase taijutsu damage. Skill would give a chance and increase that chance of critical hit when using ninjutsu. Chakra control, which, because of the combat system is what it already is, the only way that this would make sense is having this be jutsu refresh speed. Sign weaving, which would add a very interesting element to this game, would be how fast you can basically, launch jutsu. Remember back in the day when, like, big jutsu, like in the Team 7 versus Zabuza fight, big jutsu would, like, actually take a while to commence, and then there's this level of, tactical prowess that you have to make sure that, you don't get interrupted when you're casting ninjutsu. I think having that as a trainable stat would also be really useful to add variety and make the game a lot more strategic based. Stealth would be the character's ability to be locked onto, and just in general their visibility when not being locked onto. So you should be able to catch your opponent off guard, be stealthy like a ninja, and that should be rewarded, which is why I believe stealth damage should be introduced for the first few attacks that you land while not being locked onto. This goes into kind of this horrible targeting system in the game. If you're being hit by a person that you're not already locked onto, it's just horrible, and it needs to change. It needs to be, if I start getting attacked by a person that I'm not currently locked onto, then it should auto lock me onto that person. Now, this might run into issues if you're getting double or triple teamed and the camera's just switching back and forth. And if that's the case, if you're getting hit like multiple times by multiple different people, then it can like stay on, let's say, the first person that hits you, or only swap within like a 5-second time frame, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, if you're just getting double teamed, then it should auto lock you on to the person that's hitting you. Or if you're not fighting anybody at all and you just get, blindsided, it should auto lock you onto that person as soon as possible. But with the stealth being a trainable skill, this would allow you to be able to, if you're hitting someone and you catch them off guard, maybe you're able to get more hits in before the auto lock happens, and therefore by getting more and more damage through sneak damage, increased damage through sneak before locking on. And this will have further application, as I'll explain a little bit later, as well as, it'll also give having the Byakugan a much more feasible role in the game, being able to actually see people and so on and so forth. So third way that they can improve this game, return combat back to Ultimate Ninja Storm. Like, I swear they took that one scene out of Naruto and Sasuke's like final fight in Shippuden in the Valley of Death, and when like Sasuke used a kunai to get up on Naruto to keep him from using shadow clones or whatever. They did that one scene in Naruto and they were like, we're gonna make a whole game out of that. And it was pointless. We have games that have great combat that people love. That should have been the combat of this game. I don't mind like how we run on walls and the obstacles. I think all that's great, but the combat should have been pretty much the exact same as that. They had a winning, like mechanic, and they just was like, nope, throwing that away. We're not using that. That would make too much sense. And I'm not saying that they should bring back how much chakra you need to cast jutsu, or how many substitutions you get, or support attacks, or the ability to do your ultimate virtually anytime you feel. I'm talking about like everything else, like just the overall feel and the style of combat. So in place of the support characters that you would get would just basically be your teammates, and we're already used to the chaos of everything happening in that. Like, I don't think that would be too much of a stretch to bring that into this game. Fourth thing would be, make a lot more maps not have those pitfalls. I mean, like, that was the weirdest thing about this game to me, is like, why are there so many pitfalls in this game? Like, there was not that many in the show at all. I only remember like there being like one, like when Naruto was training with Jiraiya and he had to like summon the Gamabunta. Like, again, I feel like this game is just a mismatch of things that only happened like one time in the show, and they're like, we're making an entire game out of that. Like, it's stupid. Like, more maps should not have those stupid pitfalls, which I feel like is just a lazy way to like have fights end quicker or whatever. You glitch out and then you just fall in the pit and you just die, and there's no reason why there's so many maps that have that. Now, Capture the Flag. Capture the Flag could have had so much more potential. I feel like it's literally just like the simplest thing that they put together and they're like, yep, good enough. Capture the Flag should be like how they would have, recovery and espionage missions in the show. Have it be like, hey, one round you're on offense and then the next round you're on defense. No, like both people at the same exact time kind of thing. One round one team is on offense and then the next round they swap. And make the maps large, huge. Like, I want them to be like 3 of the regular maps put together. And it's essentially what you could do is, now that's where all of these skills really start to shine. So the team that's on offense that's needing to go to the other side of the map and get the other team's flag, or I would change it to be a scroll instead of a flag. That would make more lore sense or whatever. But the offense team goes to the other side of the map, they get the scroll, and that's where these things like stealth and speed come into account. Because, like, hey, if you're really, really fast, that allows you to get to the other side of the map or catch up to your teammates or your enemies a lot easier. And stealth would help you be able to sneak up to the scroll, or if all your teammates die and you're waiting for them to catch back up, you can actually like hide out for a while and they have to try and find you. It makes the capture the flag a lot more dynamic than just rush back and forth as fast as possible and whatever. It adds like a, hey, there's nuance to this, and then obviously some minor tweaks like, hey, if the map's going to be larger, don't teleport the flag back to the base if it gets dropped. Like, that'll be really annoying. Have the team that's on defense, if their flag gets stolen, they should probably get a speed buff, because if you have a person that has like max speed on offense, you don't want it to be impossible to catch up. As well as, doesn't it always seem like in the show when they're trying to catch up to someone or whatever, that by all standards and measurements would be moving relatively to the same speed as them, that they always seem to catch up somehow? It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, like, just to keep the game fair and have some ability for there to be some back and forth, the defensive team gets a speed buff if their scroll gets taken, and therefore that they can catch up. But also, the offense team having max speed isn't completely negated, because it allows them to get back to their own base a little bit faster as well. So capture the flag could just be way better. Number 5, give some sort of Xenoverse 2 equivalent Q-cubing. I am sick and tired of this annoying, like, okay, at first they didn't have it, but now they have like the ninja boost or whatever, where you can change the skill of your equipment to a certain extent or whatever. But I should not have to do that for every single little item. Like, give me something like a QQ bang that I could select my things and then just call it a day. This is just so annoying why it's a struggle to just have the character have the aesthetic that I want them to have without going through a whole bunch of hoops and bells and whistles. It's annoying. So past number 5, I'm not too concerned with, but I've already come this far, I might as well continue. Expand this village. Expand this little thing that we're in. Why is everybody in the leaf? You start us off and you make us pick what village we're from, and it's immediately negated and has no significance because we're all in the leaf. Have a little area for everybody in their own villages. I mean, first and foremost, this area should be traversable. You already have these maps in the game. Just use them. Just put them in here. Have the whole area be traversable and spread everything out a little bit. Allow people to be up on the roofs, and then if you choose a different village, put them in that place. Have each people be able to be in their own village, and if they want to go to a different village because, hey, they're the team and their friends or whatever over there, then they can. But like, there's no reason why you already have all this stuff created and you just didn't use it. It's just lazy and senseless. Make NPCs your trainers, your mentors, sorry. Make the last rank of their training be your ability to customize the character. Again, like, this game failed at everything that they could have, like, I don't want to say copied, but like, used as inspiration from Xenoverse 2. And Xenoverse 2 really took the fans' advice, where they're like, hey, we want to be able to customize our mentors and our trainers or whatever. And Shinobi Strikers really just dropped the ball on that. Like, make the last rank of these be allowing the trainers and the mentors to be or the masters to be customizable, and I mean everything, as long as it's within their actual repertoire. Give it to them. And then last thing, all the clothes and weapons should be sellable. All right. No one likes clutter. No one likes all this stuff jumbled around. I'm sick and tired of getting multiples of the same item. I'm tired of not being able to sell stuff if I don't have multiples of it, especially for like, you know, if I play a single character and they're only one sex, and I already can't wear the opposite sex's clothes. It's just in the way. Let me sell it. Let me get rid of it. It's annoying. So again, this is just my list of stuff that could have been implemented into this game. At this point, like, I have literally no intentions of ever playing this game again. It was a waste of potential. Someone would have to like come hunt me down and really show me how this game implemented almost every single last thing that I just mentioned for me to even entertain the idea of playing this game ever again, which is not going to be the case. I mean, like, me getting on all these years after and seeing virtually almost nothing change is completely disappointing, and kind of to be expected. And maybe some of the things that I mentioned might not be completely accurate. I didn't really like sit down and really start playing this game again just to make sure that everything that I said was completely accurate. But for the most part, even as a basis of like, hey, when this game got released, it was just a pure, complete wasted potential and a disappointment.